tremendous closing moment. Here comes Balboa back, but the champion back with another left. Exhausted. How does he know? Get away from him. They're getting it, I don't know. A right hand is Creed. Now it's Balboa. Now it's Creed. And now a tremendous left by Rocky. They're standing dead in the center of the ring.
Okay, Rocky III. Now, released in 1982, directed by Sylvester Stallone and written by Sylvester Stallone. The box office was $125,049,125, which is significantly lower than the last couple. Rotten Tomatoes 65%, audience 73%. So
I wonder if that's because it was becoming a novelty. Like,
yeah, I think at
that
time,
point.
Yeah, at that time they were like, oh, another Rocky movie. But
like Mr. T's in there.
No, they didn't know who he was.
Yeah,
he was a nobody.
Yeah.
Mr. T was found at a Toughest Bouncers.
Yeah.
You know what? He was Leon. I think it was Leon Spinks' bodyguard.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
So that's how Stallone found him. And he's like, oh, we gotta hire this guy. This guy's nuts.
Well, yeah, because that was another note I was thinking. I was like, Mr. T cannot act.
He could be Mr. T.
But he's exactly.
He's Mr. T.
He is.
It's a scary dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't think of the word.
Okay. Anyways. All right. So about 3 years have passed since Rocky became the champion. We got like a little montage at the beginning of the movie. He's getting accustomed to the fame that made him so uncomfortable in the last movie.
And I actually wrote that. I actually wrote Rocky has become Apollo.
Like that's a great way to put it.
In a way,
he has become Apollo in his accustomed.
You can tell he's starting getting used to it.
He's getting used to it, yeah.
Yeah.
He's gotten over his reading problem. That's one thing I noticed because he couldn't read, like we talked about before. He was trying to do a caveman thing, and he's like, I like cologne.
Immediately after that, you saw him in bed with Adrian
and he was
reading a book.
And he's gotten over it because now he's doing. You don't hear what he says, but you can see he's talking very adequately about Mastercard.
He has assumed the part.
He has become the part, right?
Yes.
But he's defending his title. But we find out later that the guys he's fighting are not up to his caliber. They're not worthy to fight him. They're picked. Mickey's protecting him. He doesn't know this. Mickey's protecting him. So a worthy opponent comes up in the form of Mr. T, Clubber Lang. This dude, he's bad.
He's menacing.
He is scary. he's Mr. T. And then if you don't know who Mr. T is, again, shame on you. Because Mr. T was back in the 80s. This is the start of Mr. T. But he was like.
I feel like there would have been so many lawsuits, like in today's society.
Oh my gosh!
There would have been so many lawsuits against him, just shoving people out of the way,
oh my God, yeah,
under poles and shit. And of course, what happens to Mickey jumping ahead?
Oh yeah, jumping ahead. Well, so let's go to the beginning. Paulie is very, very bitter at the beginning, like even more bitter than normal.
I've been consistently writing Paulie's a dick.
Paulie's a dick. And you can, in this one, I can kind of understand a little bit where Paulie's coming from.
Yeah.
Because Rocky, of course, is now rich and famous, and he took his wife, Paulie's sister, along with him, of course. And he moved Mickey into his house, but Paulie was left out of the whole thing. And they have an argument at the beginning, which is very telling on both their characters, because Paulie thinks that friends owe each other. Like, you're my friend, you owe me. You got success, you owe it to me to bring me with you. And Rocky's like, no, I don't owe it to you.
Yeah.
What do? You buy a new house? You move Mick in, right? Did you ask me? Is there something matter with me? I got feelings, This ain't cowboy.
Everybody's got them, Paul.
The hell with everybody.
No, maybe it's the hell with you.
I don't want to listen to this crap.
Come on, you talk like everybody owes you a living.
Shut your mouth.
Look, nobody owes nobody nothing. You owe yourself.
You're wrong. Friends owe.
Friends don't owe. They do because they want to do.
And that's one thing I was about to say is he doesn't owe him anything.
Exactly. And he doesn't owe him, but you can kind of. I'm not saying Paulie's right, but I can kind of understand where he's coming from.
Yeah.
He's jealous. He's extremely jealous. And I'll be quite honest with you. If you made like $1 billion and you didn't at least hire me to do something for you, I'd be a little pissed off. I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Especially if I didn't have a job, because Paulie is notoriously unemployed or underemployed.
Yeah.
And you have.
Well, he was at the meat factory through the entire series, apparently. I thought he had gone.
He was an enforcer at the end of number 2. He took over as the enforcer.
That's true.
And at the beginning of this movie, you don't know what he's doing. You have no idea. He doesn't seem to be an enforcer anymore. And
so he goes back and forth then.
Yeah, he does. Because this is the one in that scene, Rocky hires him as his cornerman.
Okay, I'm gonna break your mouth. I'm gonna break your mouth up!
Clever job. All you had to do was ask.
Yeah.
And that's also a callback to the watch that he got in the previous one, because he takes off the watch and he throws it down and kicks it and the whole thing.
This, you gave me a lousy stinking X-Legs watch. This.
Hey, Paulie.
What? There. That's right. No, leave it now. I never kept a good time anyway.
One of my favorite scenes was when Paulie tries to fight Rocky. That was one of my favorite scenes.
It's entertaining.
It's very funny. Okay, so Rocky ends up giving. Okay, yeah. So that song, that "Take You Back" song, is in this movie again. It's actually sung by Rocky and Adrian. They sing it together in the bed, kind of a little charming little moment before shit hits the fan.
I've been told
Do 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 do
by people and they are
do 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 do.
said to take me back like before.
I did not even notice that.
Yeah,
I did not even
he
notice that.
has to go to do 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 do.
Wow.
Yeah, the fight.
learning
Okay,
things.
so there's a scene at the beginning, towards the beginning, where Rocky fights the wrestler for charity.
Oh,
And
Thunderlips.
Thunderlips.
Hulk Hogan.
Thunderlips is here in the flesh, baby.
Thunderlips is here in the flesh, baby.
Oh my God.
The ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball.
My favorite scene.
I was cringing every time he talked, though.
Oh.
Like, his acting is
He was-
horrible in that, but it's supposed
it's
to be.
supposed to be that
that's,
way.
That's the funny
He's
part. Is
acting
like,
in the movie.
yes, exactly. He's acting like he's acting horribly.
Yeah,
and
and it was
it's
great.
great because at the end of the scene where
Yeah,
him
he's
and
so
Rocky,
normal. He's like,
he's like, oh yeah, guys.
He's like,
It's like,
why'd you go crazy? I mean, that's the name of the game.
exactly.
Good match.
Hey, why'd you get so crazy on me out there?
That's the name of the game.
Well, listen, while you're still calm, can we get that Polaroid together?
Yeah, sure.
Hey,
But it was actually good. But
It was great. It was a completely pointless scene to the plot.
It was entertaining.
Completely pointless, but it was so much fun. It was a great scene, a lot of fun. You could tell it was probably in there for fluff because it didn't have enough time, or it had too much time.
And I
and
feel
enough
like
story.
it's stuff like this that is why people thought maybe it was becoming a novelty.
Yeah, exactly.
And-
like, really, he's fighting a wrestler, but that was
Exactly.
And quite honestly, there was no point in having that other than to show that Rocky is still charitable.
Let's call it off.
oh, come on, it's for charity.
You're wearing your anatomy out for charity. Nobody else does this much for charity.
Bob Hope would.
That's true.
But for me, like, if you really follow the movies, you see a progression and a changing of his character with what happens. And I think that's what makes these movies so great. And especially what made me love them this time around.
Yeah.
Was, the first movie is not the same movie as the third movie.
No, not even
Like,
close.
at all.
They're not
Like-
remakes. They're not direct rehashes, but they do refer to each other and they do have a great connection.
But yeah, like I said, part 3 is getting bigger and
Right.
flashier. And it definitely has, for me, the best fights of the entire series.
Yeah, it does have some great
Like,
fights.
I love
And the
fighting.
music. Let's talk about the music. The music changes completely in this movie. This is the movie that gave us the iconic "Eye of the Tiger."
Yep, Eye of the
The
Tiger.
Eye of the- and that was a theme of the movie.
Yeah.
Was having the eye of what they call the eye of the tiger, which was the edge, the actual hunger to succeed, to fight. Rocky was losing that because he didn't need it anymore because he was rich.
Thrill of the fight.
Huh?
Sorry.
No, he didn't have the eye of the tiger to thrill of the fight. He wasn't rising up to the challenge of his rival. None of that stuff. We should write that down. Write that down. If someone steals it. So,
Yeah, but Thunderlips was great.
Thunderlips was great. A lot of fun. The next scene gives us the iconic Rocky statue, which I want to see so bad
Yes.
in real life.
But they took it down.
It's still not on the top there, but it's still
Yeah.
there. It still
Oh,
exists.
they did put it down
They
low?
took it down at the bottom of the
Oh,
steps. It's
okay.
not at the top anymore. Because they considered it.
They even mentioned that in Balboa.
Yeah, they show it.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll show it in Creed, I think. But
Oh, it don't matter.
but yeah, the statue in real life, the museum they considered it a prop and not an actual monument or an actual
Which
piece
makes
of art.
no sense. Because that to me would be a monument. I mean, like...
Yeah, because it was a movie prop, so they decided to take it down.
Yeah.
For some reason, instead of just leaving it there, because no one had any problem with it, they decided to spend the money to take it down and move it to the bottom.
You would think they would leave it for the tourists. Because
Right.
that alone would
that would bring so many
tourists.
people to the
Exactly.
whatever. I don't get it.
People are stupid.
People are stupid. Smart people are dumb. So we get the statue in this movie, And that was where at the bringing of that statue, Rocky announces he wants to retire, which is another ongoing theme. Almost every movie admits, including the first movie, mentions him retiring.
Yeah.
Because what we don't realize is that, if you've never seen it, Rocky is old.
Yeah.
Technically, I mean, for a boxer, he's almost 30. He's 30 in the first movie. That's old for a boxer to start boxing.
Yeah.
I mean, that by then you're getting used to, you're about to retire usually as a boxer.
And it felt like his every intention was to do this one time. And
Yeah, almost every movie was his last fight.
Yeah.
Well, this guy right here, he's announcing his retirement, and then here comes Clubber Lang, Mr. T, and he's like, "No fool, you're gonna fight me. Why don't you fight me? Because you're scared of me. Kick your ass." That kind of thing. And Mickey doesn't want him to fight. He decides to fight anyway, and you think that Rocky would take this guy more seriously, but he pulls an Apollo. Like you said, he becomes Apollo. Because Apollo didn't take Rocky seriously, so Rocky didn't take this guy seriously. And when they fought, it did not go well for Rocky.
No.
He got knocked out, the second round?
I think so, yeah.
And he lost Mickey in the same night. Mickey was knocked down because, like you said, the salt and all that kind of
That's
stuff.
a pivotal moment.
That is a very pivotal moment for Rocky, was when Mickey dies.
Man, I don't remember that being that sad. Like, I was impacted so much.
I know,
by that.
I was like, be a man, damn it, be a man! But like when Rocky died, when Mickey dies and Rocky cries,
Yeah.
because Rocky's not afraid to cry.
No.
You can hear he wails, and it's not like he's like, "It's okay, I'm alright."
Not as much as
No,
in Balboa, though. Man, like, that to me is great. Anyways, well, skipping ahead again.
Yeah, skip ahead because I don't know what you're talking about. But he cries and he mourns the loss of his manager more so than his championship. His championship didn't really worry him.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Because he lost Mickey, and
yeah, a person means more.
of course, and that's how Rocky thinks.
Yeah.
Rocky cares more about the person. In fact, it's
Whereas, yeah, that's a good point, though. Like, 'cause some of the other people probably wouldn't feel that way, you know. But he is very much
like if Duke died and Apollo, if it was the other way around and Duke lost Apollo the same night he lost his title,
Yeah.
he would be torn. He would probably, at least in the first movie, he'd be
Yeah.
more upset about losing the title and want to get that back. Because Rocky has no interest in getting his title back yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he doesn't have the interest till, guess who shows up? Apollo.
That's not the way to do it.
Who's that?
But you hit it straight, huh? Step into it.
Apollo?
Right. I waited at your house for about an hour and your wife said you might be here.
What are you doing here?
Business.
Apollo Creed shows up, and he's like, and he tells him that he has to do it not because he needs to be the champion again. He needs to do it because he needs to have that Eye of the Tiger back.
Yep.
And he's like, you gotta get the Eye of the Tiger back. So I'm gonna train you. We're gonna fight this chump, and we're gonna go back old school. So Apollo takes Rocky across the country to L.A.
Which just brings me to the horrible trend of the half shirt.
Oh, the days when men could wear half
I
shirts.
hate the fucking half shirt.
I was watching it, and I texted him. I was like, dude, for the days that men could wear half shirts.
Apollo's rocking the half shirt when they're running on the beach.
Oh yeah, Rocky's got the half shirt
It's
when
like,
he's doing the
why
bar.
was this a trend?
It was awesome. Bring back the
You
half
had a half shirt, didn't you?
Hashtag bring back the half shirt. That's gonna flash up, man. Okay. Okay, where was that at? Okay. The Rocky theme song is actually played in universe at first. The first time we hear it. So that tells us that the Rocky theme song exists in the Rocky universe.
Yeah, I didn't even think
Blew your
about
mind,
that.
yeah. One thing I wanted to talk about is background music in these movies. I don't know if you noticed this, but there's very little background music in these movies.
Yeah, except at key moments.
Key moments, exactly.
yeah.
There's not like they're sitting around talking. It's usually there's no background music. The first movie was very minimal on the music, and that's probably a budgetary
It
thing.
wasn't like some kind of like
No.
little tunage playing.
Very, very little.
Like, very low.
Like no, it was like only in emotional moments, like when Rocky was sad. It
Yeah.
was like a do 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 kind of thing, and then it just moved on.
They like to play Gonna Fly Now in different like slower versions and like,
They do,
on
yeah.
the piano, like you said.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Um,
So Rocky goes in, he gets his butt kicked. I think he gets some kind of PTSD from it, maybe, because it seemed to me
well,
like
you could tell, like
yeah, the part
it
where
got worse.
the pivotal part of the thing, because so Apollo takes him to L.A. and he's training, and he can't get his mind, his still on that fight,
Yeah.
and he's seeing himself getting the crap kicked out of him, And it comes to the whole scene with Adrian. Almost every one of his movies has what I call a coming to Jesus moment. And this one was on the beach with Adrian, and it showed her advancement as a character. Because remember how shy she was in
Yes,
the
I
first one?
wrote that. I was like,
Yeah.
Adrian comes out of her shell finally.
She comes out and she tells Rocky, "Look, asshole, you need to get it out."
Yeah,
get
she
your-
actually gives it to him.
She's like, "Get your head out of your ass and either do it or don't."
yeah.
She's like, because
I loved that, actually.
Because and the whole point was it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
She's like, it doesn't matter if you win or not, but if you're gonna do it, do it. But do it because you want to do it. Don't do it because of us. Because he wanted to do it because he didn't want to lose everything he had.
Yeah.
He didn't want to lose what he had gained. He didn't want to go backwards, which is a completely understandable feeling. You don't want to go backwards. You want to go forward. But he found out that he was protected, and he didn't like that because he felt that it was a lie. Nothing was true. His self-worth had dropped.
Yeah.
So
But I think Apollo brought that back. Like,
Adrian brought that back.
yeah, well, yeah. But
Apollo could. The only person who could ever reach him like that was Adrian.
Was Adrian.
At this point, was
Oh.
Adrian. Adrian was the only one. And finally, she got him to take his head out of his fourth point of contact, and he decided to just go.
Yeah.
And you got the dun 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 dun
and
dun dun.
this
dun,
was
dun.
the beginning of Apollo and Rocky's friendship.
The friendship
that-
developed, the respect.
And
'Cause
man, I love like when they finally started
Training.
everything coming together, the training, and he's getting better and better.
What was
like,
great-
I love that.
Rocky learned how to box
Exactly.
in this movie. So because Rocky was a brawler. I mean, he was what? How'd you put it?
I wrote that down too. I said Rocky finally stops using his face to block.
Yeah, he stopped blocking with his face.
It's
And
like-
so when he because now he's fighting a brawler. So he's fighting.
Well,
a,
and if you watch those first two films, he literally
yeah. He's
like-
leading with his face, and he has an iron jaw.
he's getting hit now he's constantly. He was just like, come on.
But now he's
stop.
fighting a guy who has the same fighting style as him,
Yeah.
but is more powerful and has a lot more aggression.
Well, it wasn't
So-
Apollo. This is the one Apollo was training him to be.
A boxer.
Well, he was training with the other side.
Yeah.
Because he's naturally a southpaw.
No. That was actually in the second movie.
Oh, okay.
Mickey was doing that, and that was mainly because in real life, Stallone had injured his left shoulder.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you look,
Really?
especially in Rocky Balboa, you'll see like a bunch of veins sticking out of his shoulder. Maybe it's the right shoulder, but I think it's left shoulder. But he actually injured it, and they had to sew it together, so his shoulder was all jacked up.
Oh,
so he
did
couldn't
not
throw
know
his
that.
left arm. That happened during the making of Rocky 2, and he couldn't throw his left arm as hard. So they switched him to the right-handed, and
Nice.
that's why they did that. But this one he was going back to southpaw. But anywho, tangent. But he went in there this time, and he was using the philosophy of making your opponent miss, and just got into his head. And this was my favorite fight.
Definitely
Of the
made him
series.
a bit- yeah. I
You saw the
agree
whole
with
fight.
that.
That's what was great. Because most of them, they went 15 rounds, and you saw like a
Yeah.
montage of it.
There's a
This
montage
one-
halfway through.
right. This one was 3 rounds. You saw every round. You saw the tactics, saw the techniques. It was brilliant. Mr. T got knocked the heck down.
Yeah.
He knocked him down, and Mr. T, he was on the ground. He's like, okay, what happened? What's going on?
Yeah, easily.
It's easily
It
the
was
best
really hard for me to decide whether this was my favorite one over part 1. Like that was a toss up for
It's
me.
a toss-up. So
Yeah.
I gave it a 4. Again, very
I
high
did
score.
too. I did too.
I absolutely love Rocky 3. For the longest time, until this viewing, this was my favorite one.
Yeah,
Because this is the first one I saw.
I can see why.
Yeah, this is the first one I saw. It was 1982. I was 8 years old, and I saw it in the theater. No, I didn't. I saw it on HBO. I'm sorry. By the way, I didn't realize. The first Rocky movie I actually saw in the theater was Rocky Balboa.
Really,
Yeah.
that's fascinating.
So, but Rocky 3, I was too young, so I saw it on HBO. It's the first one I saw, and I loved it, and that was my favorite for the longest time. But now I think it's been just slightly edged down by the first one.
Yeah,
Definitely.
no, I actually agree with that.
It might be number 3, and we'll talk about what number 2 is later. Okay. Anything else about Rocky 3?
That's all I got.
Okay. All right. Stand by for Rocky 4.